Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most badass titans in the MonsterVerse. For this list, we're looking at the giant monsters in Legendary Cinematic Universe that most demonstrated their might and looked awesome doing it. We'll only be looking at the versions that appeared between 2014's Godzilla and 2021's Godzilla vs. Kong, and won't be taking into account their previous incarnations, Toho or otherwise. Also, as we will be discussing key battles, expect some spoilers. Which king of the monsters would you swear your allegiance to? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. METHUSELAH. Judging by appearances, Methuselah definitely earns its biblical name. While we've yet to see the hulking monstrosity go mano a mano against another titan, we'd have to imagine that bringing it down would be quite the ordeal, like taking on a mountain. Because it practically is one. Originating from a monarch outpost outside Munich, Germany, Methuselah's awakening at the hands of Ghidorah upends the whole valley, causing a series of rock slides. We imagine it isn't the fastest on land or sea, as it arrives late to the party in Boston, but it caused a good deal of devastation along the way.
On every continent, the Titans are triggering earthquakes, wildfires, tsunamis, and disasters we don't even have names for yet.
If we had to assign stats, we'd probably give his agility a 2, but his defense is a solid 10. Number 9. WARBATS.
We're getting some strange radar activity. We're gonna circle back.
These serpentine flyers don't have much screen time in Godzilla vs. Kong, but they roll out quite the welcome wagon for the big ape when he arrives in Hollow Earth. With the body of a snake and the wings of a bat, they prove to be quite agile opponents. While their long fangs are on full display, they seem to fight smartly rather than viciously. Like many terrestrial constrictors, they'll quickly wrap themselves around an opponent. But the real kickers are the wings, which double down on the suffocation tactic by restricting airspace. If it weren't for the humans, we can't say for certain if Kong would have survived these beasts. Number 8. Skullcrawlers.
That's a big one.
Kong's primary adversaries on Skull Island, Skullcrawlers are responsible for the near extinction of his entire species, including the deaths of his parents. So naturally, Kong exterminates any he comes across.
He can handle them as long as he gets to them when they're still small.
Likened to devils, these titanous lizards dwell underground and emerge to hunt. They have prehensile tails and tongues, and their powerful jaws can deal crippling damage. Since they only have 2 limbs, they're easy to knock down, but prove surprisingly fast when on the run. The largest of their number, Skull Devil, aka the Big One, puts up quite a fight against Kong before he's bested. Number 7. MUTOS. Standing for Massive Unidentified Terrestrial Organism, MUTOS hold the distinction of being the first Titan antagonists in the MonsterVerse, pushing the King of the Monsters to the brink in 2014's Godzilla. Pesky creatures, the MUTOS are parasites that prey on Godzilla's kind, in order to lay their eggs inside their fallen foes. They can communicate with echolocation, which makes them strategic fighters when teaming up. While the female MUTO is larger, the male can fly and unleash an electromagnetic pulse. Both have brutal hooked jaws that can pierce through just about anything. Number 6. MOTHRA.
Meet Titanus Mothra, or as we like to call her, MOTHRA.
The queen of the monsters, MOTHRA seems to have a cooler head on her shoulders, or thorax. That said, she knows how to dish out damage when she needs to, as evidenced during her aerial bout with RODAN, in which she impales him with her stinger. She's also armed with raptorial forelimbs, powerful wings, and silk webbing. Admittedly, she doesn't have the size and brute strength of many other titans. But you'd still want her on your team, as her healing abilities can turn the tide of any fight. In one of the most selflessly badass acts, MOTHRA sacrifices herself to give Godzilla the energy boost he needs to destroy Ghidorah. Number 5. RODAN. RODAN gets overshadowed by some iconic company in Godzilla King of the Monsters, but in no way does that detract from how awesome he is. Known in legend as the Fire Demon, RODAN emerges from his monarch outpost in a Mexican volcano, and quite the dramatic entrance it is. Sure to keep the fire going, RODAN can emanate a staggering amount of heat, and MOTHRA gets severely burned during their face-off in Boston. Also part of RODAN's arsenal are his sharp beak and talons, and the sonic waves from his massive wings. While he might not pack as heavy of a punch as other titans on this list, RODAN's aerial velocity and heat signature make him an agile and deadly opponent. Number 4. MECHAGODZILLA. The only human-made titan on this list, this baddie is still no slouch when it comes to measuring up against the heavies. Inspired by Godzilla's design, but certainly not beholden to it, MECHAGODZILLA brings to the table a plethora of internal weapons, from missile launchers to buzzsaw claws to a tail drill. Its proton scream is even powerful enough to withstand Big G's atomic breath. While it was originally intended to be piloted by a human, the consciousness of Ghidorah gave MECHAGODZILLA complete autonomy, making it all the more savage. Though it did ultimately fall to Godzilla and Kong in its first outing, it was also outnumbered. Number 3. King Kong.
Is that a monkey?
What the hell is that? Somebody talk to me, man. Turn right at 5.
Perhaps the most intelligent titan on this list, Kong's brains are perhaps exceeded only by his brawn. And when you pair the two together, you had better watch out. Ostensibly the last of his species, Kong makes a pretty compelling case against his extinction, as he consistently manages to handle any challenge that comes his way. What makes him even more unique, however, is the fact that he's one of the only titans with the wherewithal and dexterity to use tools and weapons. In Godzilla vs. Kong, he reclaims an ancestral battle axe in Hollow Earth, which, when paired with Godzilla's atomic breath, can cut through nearly any material. He may not be king of the monsters, but Kong is still a king to us. Number 2. King Ghidorah. This villainous titan Ghidorah brings an otherworldly presence to the MonsterVerse, partly because he isn't actually from this world. Indeed, Ghidorah is actually an extraterrestrial entity that seeks to destroy civilization, and definitely has the firepower to do it.
Oh, shit.
The dragon-like monster causes massive storms around him, and can fire devastating gravity beams out of his 3 mouths. Much like a Hydra, Ghidorah is extremely difficult to kill, as cutting off one head will only result in it regenerating right back. It is incredibly fortunate that Godzilla was able to take him down, because this king's reign would have been incredibly bleak. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Godzilla. The OG, the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla doesn't get by on reputation alone. He earns it through tenacity and sheer power. The overgrown lizard is capable of destroying anything in his path, and his highly durable skin makes him a tough opponent to take down. He is, at the same time, the unstoppable force and the immovable object. Still, it's Godzilla's party tricks that are most memorable, as his atomic breath is a classic staple of the character. Never was it put to more badass use than down the throat of a MUTO. Moreover, Godzilla can absorb and emit radiation at an astounding level, going full-on nuclear in King of the Monsters. Long live the king. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.